Hey guys, it's Chris back with another watch test. Today we are continuing the series of killing the SKX. We are outside. I am going to be doing some drop tests. So I'm going to be dropping the SKX from a 5-foot height because I figure most people who are wearing their watch, if it falls off their wrist, it will fall from a 3 to 5 foot height. So I'm going to go at the higher end of that scale. And we're going to be doing it on a few different surfaces. We're going to start with softer surfaces like grass, that's why we're outside. Then we're going to go to wood, then harder substances like stone and maybe concrete, if the watch survives that long. Now, the rules I'm going to be setting up here is, obviously, if the bezel pops off or if the glass cracks and stuff like that, we're going to continue. However, if the movement stops working, that's when I will say that the watch has stopped working. So really this is a test of the durability of the case and the movement. The hard lex might crack, obviously, and the bezel may pop off or get heavily scratched, but these are replaceable items, and I feel as though the watch is still a functioning watch if it's telling time. So that's basically the only rule that I'm putting out there. And what I'm going to do is, like I said, from 5 feet, I'm going to drop the watch on these different surfaces. I'll set up the camera so you could see the watch drop onto the surface that we're testing. So right now I have the camera set up at about a 5-foot height. I'm 5'11", so it's just below my chin, basically. And we'll go from here. Okay, so I'm going to be trying it. So I'll be dropping the watch essentially on its side like this, and see, I don't know how it'll flip when it drops, but I'm going to try and avoid dropping it directly on the glass because I definitely don't want it to shatter. But this seems like a good position, and I'll bring it right up and it might come out of focus, but just to make sure that we're coming at the same height every single time. I'm not going to drop it on the crown intentionally, obviously. Again, if it flips, there's nothing I can do about that. Okay, so I am going to just let go. So it fell on the strap. So really nothing happened there. And I expect that. So this is grass. It's going to be pretty soft. Yep, obviously nothing, just a little wet. Okay, next surface. Okay, so now we are doing wood. Again, I'm going to be dropping on the side that is not the crown, and I'm just going to drop. So yeah, that seems to be working fine. Don't really expect that much from these surfaces because they aren't very hard, and I think most people would agree. They've dropped watches before and really nothing happens on these type of surfaces. Okay, so we'll move on to harder surfaces. Alright, this is bluestone. It is about 2 inches thick. I'm a little nervous. I'm just going to let go, same as the other tests. I'm holding it so that it hopefully doesn't land on the crown, but let's go for it. Ooh. Okay, so we have a pretty good gash on the side here, but other than that, nothing too crazy. The watch is still working, glass is intact. Going to go for it again on bluestone, again 2 inches thick. And nothing. Looking good. Again, it is getting scratched up pretty good. There's a big scratch on the bezel now, but the hands aren't falling off and the movement is still working. So we're going to go on to a harder surface. Okay, here we are. Now we are on top of brick. So I figured this would be a good next step between concrete and the bluestone brick. I don't know, honestly, scientifically, if brick is actually harder than concrete, but I am going to test it on the brick first, and then we're going to go to the concrete. So I am going to drop, again, 5 feet, crown facing up. That was a very clear hit on the side of the watch. Very, very hard hit. And it is still working. We are getting a really good, a lot of gashes on the side of this watch right now. I'm going to do it one more time because I'm doing it twice on each. 5 foot height drop. A really hard hit on the side again. That time it definitely hit the bezel. You could see the bezel is definitely damaged. It is very, very damaged now. Working fine. Nothing wrong with it. Okay, next test. Okay, for the last test, we are testing it on concrete and 5 foot height, same as the others, and I'm going to be dropping it with the crown facing up as usual. Alright, and now I'm letting go. Very solid hit. It keeps on hitting basically in the same area of that right there. It hits on the crown, I mean the bezel. I'm not sure if the bezel is still working. It's actually gotten tighter somehow. Very strange, but the movement is still working. So the second drop, here we go. That was a very solid, directly on the side hit, and it is still working. I'm going to give it one last drop directly on the back. That hit on the crown, I think. And we have a working SKX. So, what have we learned? I've dropped it on a bunch of different surfaces, and really the SKX is still working. It is beat up now. The bezel is pretty much very dented. The side of the case is very scratched up, but there is no major damage to the watch that I would consider. The glass didn't break. The movement didn't stop working. The hands haven't fallen off. So really, this is a practical world test, I would call it. 5 feet over a few different surfaces, and we did grass, wood, bluestone, brick, and then concrete, and nothing really is happening except for cosmetic damage. Anyway, if you like this video, please like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. It's much appreciated, and we'll continue the SKX tests in the near future. Thanks.